Pop the top, it's time for a new video to drop. And so today I'm playing WWE 2K22 Universe mode, but I can only draft WCW Alumni. That's right, for me to draft you to this Universe mode sim, you've had to have competed in WCW in the past. I ain't talking about the 2001 Invasion. I'm talking about the history of World Championship Wrestling. Before we hop into the draft, if you have not already, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Can we get 1,000 likes on this video in the first 24 hours of it being uploaded? I think we can. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button today because we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Every single time I do these Universe Mode sims, you guys say I don't draft everybody that can be on the brand. So today, we're only going to be drafting people from WCW, and I'm going to be thorough. I'm going to make sure we get each and every single WCW alumni at our disposal in WWE 2K22, starting off with AJ Styles. Yeah, he was in the later years of WCW, but it still counts. So as we go down now, let's make sure that we don't accidentally not draft anybody. I'm going to go ahead and grab Big Bubba. Give me Big Boss Man. He's going to come to this brand. Never thought I'd draft a Boss Man in one of these Universe Mode sims, but here we are. I guess it's time to grab Bret the Hitman Hart as well as Booker T. We're going to keep it going as we're going on down. You know, Charlotte doesn't count. Charlotte, I mean, technically was, I guess, on a couple episodes, but that doesn't count. She wasn't wrestling. She was a child, and we're not drafting Charlotte based off of her being a child. As we continue to go down, same thing goes with Cody Rhodes. Diesel was not, you know, we're not doing that. We're going to grab Kevin Nash. As we continue to go down, we got Eddie Guerrero, but we're going to grab Eddie Guerrero 1997. Now, Edge competed in WCW, so we're going to go ahead and grab Edge. Eric Bischoff is coming to WCW. We're going to grab him. We're definitely grabbing Farouk. Absolutely no doubt about it. That's a history lesson right there for you that don't know. We're going to keep going down. We're going to grab Goldberg. And after that, we're going to grab Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Keep it moving on down. Jake the Snake Roberts. He had to have been in WCW at some point. I'm going to grab Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't believe Jerry the King Lawler was ever in WCW, nor do I believe Bradshaw was in WCW ever. I can't think of a time that they were, so we're just going to keep it pushing past them, and we're going to go right on, we're going to go right on to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. We're going to draft Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Never thought I'd do that in the life of me. As we continue to go down, was Kane ever a part of WCW? I mean, I don't think so. I think he got sucked up by the WWE system pretty quickly in his career. So we're going to keep it going. We definitely got to grab Kevin Nash because that's just too sweet as we continue to go on down. Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, dig it. Shout out to Macho T as we continue to go on down here to grab everybody we can from WCW. Now, we're starting to get to the near end of this, and we don't really have too many people drafted. That's kind of crazy to me. But as we continue to go down, was R-Truth, Ron Killings, ever in WCW? I don't think so, right? Because he was in the WWF as K-Quick. So I don't believe he was. But as we continue to go down, Rey Mysterio definitely was. So we're going to grab Rey Mysterio Jr. And just to spice it up a little bit, we'll grab Rey Mysterio Jr. 1996 as well. Considering both of these are WCW models. We're also going to grab a Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! As we continue to go down. I don't believe Road Dogg was ever in WCW either. We're going to keep it moving. I don't believe, well, Roddy Piper definitely was. I don't believe The Rock ever was. I was trying to think of that. He definitely wasn't. He made his wrestling debut in the WWE. Samoa Joe definitely wasn't either. He was working UPW, which was the feeder system for WWE. We're going to keep it moving down. Scott Hall is being drafted. Now, I did say that stuff about the Invasion, or else I could grab Shane here, but we are not going to do that. We're only going to grab people that competed in the actual WCW. So as we continue to go down, it looks like, oh, no, we got 6-Pac. All right. And we got stunning Steve Austin. You love to see that. Ted DiBiase was definitely in WCW, so we're going to grab Ted DiBiase as well. We're actually getting a lot more people than I thought. Triple H was terrorizing in WCW, so we're going to grab Triple H. And The Undertaker was Mean Mark Calloway, so I'm going to draft The Undertaker 1995 because that's the year that closely represents when he was in WCW. William Regal was Steven Regal, so we're going to go ahead and draft Steven Regal. And all in all, that means we now have 25 superstars on this roster. Our starting WCW World Heavyweight Champion is going to be Bret the Hitman Hart, and our starting United States Championship, which, mind you, that's one of my favorite title designs in all the history of pro wrestling, is going to be Eddie Guerrero. We have arrived to our first pay-per-view. It is the month of May, which means this is WCW Slamboree, hosted and cover-starred by the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Whoa! We got an 8-man ladder match, you know, because, mind you, this is also Money in the Bank in the game. I didn't want to go grab a logo, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to go ahead and simulate, and Rey Mysterio Jr. wins an action-packed 8-man ladder match. I don't know why Shawn Michaels is here. It is what it is. Nevertheless, though, Jim the Anvil Neidhart does defeat Big Boss Man. We got The Undertaker, Mean Mark Calloway, defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. Bret the Hitman Hart is still the World Heavyweight Champion as he defeats Randy Savage. We got Eddie Guerrero defeating AJ Styles for the United States Championship. That match would be an absolute banger, bro. No doubt about it. We gonna keep it going, though, and Kevin Nash wins a ladder match of his own, which is kind of dope. We're in the month of June, which means it is the Great American Bash. Let's see what happens. Wow. We're opening up with Bret the Hitman Hart defeating Ric Flair to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. That is absolutely a crazy way to kick off this pay-per-view. We got Roddy Piper defeating Goldberg. You love to see that. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Jake the Snake Roberts. The Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Booker T. Kevin Nash with the NWO in cahoots defeats Farouk. We got Triple H, a.k.a. Terra Rising, defeating Six. After that, AJ Styles is the new United States Champion by defeating Eddie Guerrero. After that, stunning Steve Austin defeats, I forget what Edge's name was. Was it Sexton Hardcastle in the WCW? It might have been. But nevertheless, Stone Cold does defeat Edge. And in the main event of the evening, Mean Mark Calloway defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. Welcome to the month of July. It's time to hit the beach at Bash at the Beach, which the cover star here is Goldberg. And let's see what this card's talking about, as Six has defeated Mean Mark Calloway. And after that, Terra Rising does defeat Big Bubba, aka Big Boss Man. We got Jake the Snake Roberts defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. Roddy Piper defeats Ric Flair. After that, we got Farouk defeating Macho Man Randy Savage. William Regal defeats Edge. After that, we got the Hart Foundation defeating the Outsiders. That's kind of crazy that a tag match got booked. I wasn't expecting that. After that, though, AJ Styles defeats stunning Steve Austin for that United States Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Booker T defeats Goldberg. It's now time for our August pay-per-view, a.k.a. New Blood Rising. And shout out to Zary High Life and SmackDown Live for the recent pay-per-view they did in kind of tribute to New Blood Rising. But here we go. Jumping into the August pay-per-view, you got Triple H defeating Big Boss Man, the Macho Man, ooh yeah, defeating Farouk. Ted DiBiase defeats Eric Bischoff. We got William Regal defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. Ric Flair defeats Roddy Piper. Six defeats Mark Calloway. Jake the Snake Roberts defeats Edge. We got the Hart Foundation defeating the Outsiders. AJ Styles defeats Stone Cold Steve Austin in a United States Championship match. In the main event of the evening, Goldberg defeats Booker T. We're still in the month of August, and it is now time for Hog Wild, Road Wild, whatever you want to call it. And Booker T is the cover star, so as we go into this one, it seems that Terra Rising has defeated Mean Mark Calloway in the opening contest. We then move on to Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating Six. We got William Regal defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. Farouk defeats the Macho Man. We got Edge defeating Ted DiBiase. Ric Flair defeats Goldberg. The Outsiders have defeated the Hart Foundation. AJ Styles is still the U.S. champion, defeating Stunning Steve Austin yet again. In the main event of the evening, Rowdy Roddy Piper has defeated Booker T. Where's the World Heavyweight Championship? The world wants to know. We're in the month of September, which means it's time for a fall brawl here in WCW. And it's now time for Stunning Steve Austin to be the cover star of this. Wow. AJ Styles has defeated Jim the Anvil Neidhart to retain that U.S. championship. We then have Six defeating The Undertaker. Jake the Snake Roberts defeats William Regal. Rowdy Roddy Piper defeats Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The Terror Rising defeats Ted DiBiase. Booker T defeats Macho Man Randy Savage. Farouk defeats Goldberg. Ric Flair is the new World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Bret the Hitman Hart. And in the main event of the evening, it is a Stunning Steve Austin defeating Edge in a last man standing match. There is gonna be a Halloween Havoc tonight in the month of October, as Six is the cover star of Halloween Havoc. Let's jump right on into it. We're kicking things off with Farouk defeating Goldberg. You love to see that. Jake the Snake Roberts does defeat Steven Regal. We got Ted DiBiase defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. Edge defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. Bret the Hitman Hart defeats Rowdy Roddy Piper. Triple H defeats Mean Mark Calloway. We then have Booker T winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship for a six time. That's crazy. Winning against Ric Flair. We got a new world champion. AJ Styles is still the United States champion as he does defeat a little stunning Steve Austin. And then after that, Six does defeat Macho Man Randy Savage in our main event of the evening. It's November, which means it's either World War III or Mayhem, but nevertheless, whatever you know the November WCW pay-per-view as, Goldberg is the cover star today. So let's go ahead and jump right on in to see what's happening. It's Stunning Steve Austin becoming the new WCW United States champion as he defeats AJ Styles. AJ had one heck of a run, but it's Stunning Steve who puts a stop to it. We then move on to Jake the Snake Roberts, Mean Mark Calloway, Ted DiBiase, and Terror Rising, defeating Big Bubba, Rey Mysterio Jr., Steven Regal, and Rowdy Roddy Piper in an 8-man tag. We got Eric Bischoff defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. Kevin Nash defeats Bret the Hitman Hart. Scott Hall defeats Jim the Anvil Neidhart. We got Six defeating Edge. After that, Ric Flair defeats Hollywood Hogan. Booker T defeats Farouk to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. You love to see this match, bro. That's awesome. That would be a banger. After that, Macho Man Randy Savage does defeat Goldberg to wrap up Mayhem or World War III, whatever you know it as. It's now time for the biggest WCW pay-per-view of the year. That's right, it is December, which means it's only time for Starrcade, ladies and gentlemen, as we hop in. And we kick things off with Rowdy Roddy Piper becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion in the opening contest, defeating Booker T. That's crazy. After that, Steven Regal does defeat Jake the Snake Roberts. We got Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating the Big Boss Man, a.k.a. Big Bubba. After that, Edge defeats Ted DiBiase. We then got Farouk defeating Eddie Guerrero. Goldberg defeats Macho Man Randy Savage. Six defeats AJ Styles. We got a huge triple threat match for that United States Championship, which Stunning Steve Austin retains, going up against Triple H and Mean Mark Calloway. And then in the main event of the evening, we got Ric Flair versus Bret the Hitman Hart, with Ric Flair picking up the win. We're moving into the month of January, which means it's time for Sold Out. And as we go in, Booker T has defeated the Macho Man Randy Savage. We got Bobby... What? Why do we got Bobby Lashley? Why is Bobby Lashley here, bro? What? I'm so confused. But Bobby Lashley apparently is in WCW all of a sudden. I don't understand how that happened, but Bobby Lashley beats Goldberg. We got Jake the Snake Roberts defeating Steven Regal. Farouk defeats Eddie Guerrero. Rowdy Piper defeats Ric Flair to retain the world title. We got AJ Styles defeating Edge. Steve Austin defeats Six. Triple H retains the WCW United States Championship against Mean Mark Calloway. I didn't even realize Triple H had won the belt. And in the main event of the evening, we have a World War III matchup. Let's see who won that one. It is, of course, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. That don't work for me, brother. He said that before going out there, and then he made himself win. In the typical Hulk Hogan fashion. You hate to see it. It's the month of February, which means it's time for Super Brawl. Let's see what's going to happen here as Triple H defeats Ted DiBiase to retain the United States Championship. We got Edge defeating Eric Bischoff. Eddie Guerrero defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. Jim the Anvil Neidhart defeats Scott Hall. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Jake the Snake Roberts, Steven Regal, Six, AJ Styles, and Mean Mark Calloway. And then in the main event of the evening, we got a huge War Games Evolved. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it War Games Evolved match, where Farouk has defeated Ric Flair, Goldberg, Rowdy Piper, Booker T, and Kevin Nash to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Month of March, this is either known as Uncensored or Greed, whichever you'd like to call it. I prefer Uncensored as that's what happened the longest in WCW. But nevertheless, Booker T is the cover star, so let's go ahead and hop right on into it as Edge defeats Six in the opening contest. Jake the Snake Roberts does defeat The Undertaker, aka Mean Mark Calloway. We got Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating AJ Styles. Jim the Anvil Neidhart does defeat Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got Ric Flair 1998 defeating Rowdy Piper. Bret the Hitman Hart does defeat the Macho Man Randy Savage. William Regal is the new United States Champion as he does defeat Terra Rising. We then have Farouk defeating Hollywood Hulk Hogan. You damn right. Let's go, bro. You love to see that. And Farouk is still the World Heavyweight Champion. And after that, Booker T defeats Goldberg in the main event of the evening. We then move on to the month of April, which is known as Spring Stampede, and Booker T is the cover star of this one. So as we hop on into it, Bret the Hitman Hart has defeated Randy Savage. We got Kevin Nash defeating Rowdy Piper. Triple H does defeat Eric Bischoff. Ted DiBiase defeats Big Bubba. After that, AJ Styles defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. We got Mean Mark Calloway winning the United States Championship from Steven Regal. Scott Hall defeats Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Stunning Steve Austin defeats Jake the Snake Roberts. We got Farouk retaining that world title, defeating Six. After that, Eddie Guerrero does defeat Edge. In the main event of the evening, Booker T defeats Goldberg and Ric Flair in a triple threat match. Decided to go to the next Starrcade event since that's the biggest pay-per-view in WCW lineage, and it seems that Kevin Nash, Big Sexy, is going to be the cover star of this one, so let's jump right on into it. Booker T has defeated Farouk. We got Steven Regal defeating Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio Jr. does defeat The Undertaker, aka Mean Mark Calloway. We got Bret the Hitman Hart defeating Goldberg. Ric Flair defeats Rowdy Piper. Jake the Snake Roberts defeats Stunning Steve Austin to retain his United States Championship. We then got Edge defeating Six. Triple H, aka Terra Rising, defeats AJ Styles. And in the main event of the evening, it is the Macho Man Randy Savage defeating Kevin Nash to win that World Heavyweight Championship. Go to yet another Starrcade. That means we're one more year into the future. That's 2 years in the future from when we started. And Six is the cover star of this one. That's kind of crazy. But we're kicking things off with AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio Jr. with Rey Mysterio Jr. picking up the win. It's Mean Mark Calloway defeating Eddie Guerrero in our next match. We then have Big Bubba defeating Steven Regal. Goldberg defeats Macho Man Randy Savage. Booker T defeats Rowdy Piper. We got Terra Rising defeating Ted DiBiase. Stunning Steve Austin is the U.S. champion yet again by defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. Bret the Hitman Hart is World Heavyweight Champion again by defeating Ric Flair. And then Farouk defeats Six in the main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the sim for today. Did you enjoy this WCW sim? Let me know down in the comment section below. And what company would you like to see the alumni from next? But my GOAT of this sim, if you will, was definitely AJ Styles. He held that WCW United States Championship for quite some time, and that was an absolute feat that he did that with as well. So much congratulations to AJ Styles on that. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always and forever, take it easy though, guys. Peace!